Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Mirade.
And I'm Mr. USA WWE Hall of Famer Tony Atlas.
The road to WrestleMania has begun. Wrestling fans are looking to add to their man caves. You got to see what we have in the eBay store.
Check it out.
Support Wrestling Insiders and keep wrestling legends working on eBay. Get this WWE NXT TakeOver War Games 2020 11x14 limited edition autograph poster signed by everyone on the event. Number 23 of only 100 made. Includes signatures from the Undisputed Era: Johnny Gargano, Damian Priest, Tommaso Ciampa, Timothy Thatcher, Io Shirai, Tony Storm, Rhea Ripley, Dexter, Loomis, and more. Comes with authentication hologram on the back of the poster. Also comes with mystery autographed 8x10 and an on-air shout-out from WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas on Wrestling Insiders at your house. Get it now. Boston Wrestling Sports and the MWF explodes into a new year of unknown with professional wrestling content galore, and we need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after we review the previous night's Monday Night Raw, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with the unpredictable WWE Hall of Famer, Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights after WWE, NXT, and AEW at 10 p.m., you never know who's going to show up on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's No Holds Barred Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll journey through the 80s and 90s on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday nights after the lights go down at the Thunderdome on SmackDown, it's John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view watch-alongs, and more. If you want early, ad-free access to all of our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and to help keep wrestling legends working during the worst of times, for less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, join our growing family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Expect the unexpected in 2021.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, welcome to a special pre-Monday Night Raw installment of Wrestling Insiders Current Events. I'm Dan Mirade, along with my partner in crime, longtime Boston Wrestling MWF associate, Mr. Dave Carter. We missed you last night for the pay-per-view watch-along. I apologize. Travel can be crazy. It can be hectic, especially during these times. And Dave, up in New Hampshire, it would have been a lot for him to do the entire watch-along by himself, so we're going to do a podcast-style review. The good news is we have a creature double feature this weekend, along with all of our regular programming. We're going to have a live episode with WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas during SmackDown on Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then, what's the big one on Saturday we're doing, Dave?
Sacrifice, Impact.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Available on the Impact Plus app.
Well, this is going to be, I think, the second time we've done Impact?
Yeah, we did it, what was the other one called? I can't even remember. We did it probably about 6 months ago, right?
It got, the response from the fans was tremendous. It was better than a lot of the WWE ones. So I'm anxious to see how things go with this Impact Sacrifice this Saturday night as we sacrifice our Saturday night to enjoy your company live on YouTube. So we encourage you to join that. Hopefully we'll have a link up midweek so you can set a reminder. Of course, folks, it wouldn't be a Boston Wrestling program without the cheap plugs. The Patreon, it sank a little bit. I guess the first of the month is when everybody's renewal comes due, and then you got to try to build it up all month long. Build it up, build it up, build it up. Well, we're in build it up mode, folks. Let me tell you, we are trying to plan something out of this world for WrestleMania week. John Cena Sr. and I made that announcement last week. We're going to have a Wrestle House of sorts, Dave. Is that the best way to put it?
Yeah, Wrestle House. That's probably exactly what I guess so.
We are going to
House, Wrestle wrestle home. I don't know, something like that, but it's going to be fun.
We are planning on, and I think this is either going to be one of the greatest things we've ever done, or it's going to be a complete and utter disaster, and my brain may explode in Tampa, and I may never come home. But we're going to try and put together a litany of great legends and superstars to come in to try and interview them, make it a little easier than having to fly them here and put them up in hotels and so on, with so much great talent already in the area. More news to come. If you missed the video, it is in the archives now, when John Cena Sr. and I discussed the WrestleMania week plans. But again, the Patreon, we need your support, folks. Patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Hundreds of studio shoot interviews. You get early ad-free access to the Wrestling Insider shows. We have four original episodes each week. You have access to our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, as seen by millions online, and millions more on The Howard Stern Show. You get some Patreon exclusives, like the brand new Marty Jannetty video, where he talks about his ankle reconstructive surgery. And again, you get the knowledge of knowing you're helping keep wrestling legends working. It could be great. Linda Mirade is calling me right now. Oh, Linda, you there's nothing that this woman knows worse than her timing. Anyway, back to, hopefully, do you hearing those beeps, Dave?
No, I do not, so I didn't have any idea.
Good. All right. Well, Linda's going to have to wait. We're talking wrestling right now. Again, please get Linda off my back. Head on over to patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Again, the nightlife has been kind of quiet. For the wild ones, I don't know about Dave and his Tinder app women, but that's a different story for a different time. But as far as going out to eat, to the movies, to do anything, it's restricted right now due to the virus. But the eBay store is open 24/7. Some great new merchandise has been added to our eBay store. I believe now over 100 different items we have, from T-shirts to autograph collectibles, wrestling superstars and legends of every era. You help the cause. Why? Because with every purchase, you're helping keep wrestling legends working so we can bring more to the studio. I don't know if you've noticed some of the little commercials we've made with Tony and Marty and Leo Rush and John Cena Sr. promoting this great merchandise, but there'll be much more of that to come to try and just show you some of the variety. But again, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 10 p.m., brand new Wrestling Insider studio shoot interviews. Tuesday night, we always have Wrestling Insiders at Your House with Tony Atlas. Wednesday night, it's Wrestling Insider Special Edition, where we have a different guest every week. I actually don't remember who it is this week to show you how tired I am, but it is certainly a superstar that is going to have some great insight into the World Wrestling Federation in the 80s and 90s. Thursday night at 10 p.m., put the women and children to bed. It's Marty Jannetty, Party with Marty. I tell you, Dave, when we were down there in Orlando, one night I was a little tired. It soothes me to try and take a shower before bed. And I left my computer on. And the little Mirade was watching one of the episodes of Party with Marty. And when I came out, he said he heard things he had never heard before in his life on that episode. So that'll give you some, and he's 15. So that'll give you some kind of an idea on what's going on with Party with Marty. I hope he did not relay those stories to Linda. I don't know if Linda would find the humor in it that I did. And then again, Friday night, right after SmackDown, of course, as we noted, we're going to have that special episode live with Tony at 8. And then at 10 p.m., it is John Cena Sr. When the lights in the Thunderdome go down, his dome lights up. Margot Ouellette gets all those warm, funny, fuzzy feelings on Ms. and Mrs. It's Wrestling Insider's Fabulous Fridays with John Cena Sr. With that said, folks, give us a thumbs up, hit the subscribe. Let's talk a little AEW Revolution from Sunday, March the 7th, 2021 at Ursula Daly's place in Jacksonville, Florida. Dave, kick it off, baby.
All right. Well, we did kick it off last night with the buy-in. Did you actually see the buy-in?
No, I missed that, believe it or not.
All right. Well, I'll just go over real quick. It was you would have hated it. Believe me, you would have been going crazy, because I was Dr. Britt Baker versus Maki Toei or Taui. I don't know how to pronounce it real well. It's a Japanese name, but all I know is
superstar.
she sang all the way down to the ring, Dan, all the way in this voice. And oh my God, literally probably 3 minutes worth of singing. It was awful. I didn't even understand why they would put this on, but it was that versus Thunder Rosa versus Rio. There was not much going on in the match. It was basically just something just to get, I guess, whoever was there live watching something. The only highlight of the match pretty much was the big slaps from Rosa. She had some nice chops, but other than that, I don't know. To me, it wasn't a good match. If I was like a new fan just putting on something, this wouldn't have made me buy into their pay-per-view for sure. This was not worth watching at all. They should have put on the men's like we always talk about, and it went so long. It went like a 15-minute match too. It shouldn't have been that long.
Funny that you said that, because I was just going to ask you, was there anything about it that would have made you want to order the pay-per-view if you weren't already going to get it?
No, okay. Absolutely not.
No, then that was a mistake then.
Not with this match. At the end, Rebel ended up giving the crutch to Britt Baker. Sorry, I said that wrong. Rebel ended up hitting Thunder Rosa with the crutch, which led to Britt Baker pinning her for the win. That was the buy-in. That was the match. You have probably nothing to say about it, but
I don't. I know nothing about it, and from the way you described it, it sounds like that's probably for the best. I don't know if the compliments may not be flying for the fine women of AEW.
No, you would have went nuts on it, especially that girl singing. I don't even. Oh, that was awful. Oh my God!
I'm glad I missed it.
Go back and watch it and tell me what you think.
I am glad I missed it.
Okay. From there, we kicked off with the real show, which was the AEW Tag Team Championship match to kick it off, which was Chris Jericho and MJF versus the Young Bucks. I thought it was a great match. I really enjoyed it a lot. MJF, I put as a great talent. I know we talk about him a lot, saying he would probably be better as a mouthpiece than a wrestler, but I think he actually showed that he could hang in this match, at least for this match. I don't know what his future is with wrestling, but this was a good match. I like the Young Bucks selling in this match. I thought the double sharpshooter spot was really good with onto Jericho and MJF. Warlow got involved a little bit. What else? JR's voice, I noticed in this match, was really crackly, almost like I think I texted you about it.
Yeah, you did.
Like he was hungover, like that kind of voice. You get the crackling, like he had a long night the night before.
Or, I would say if maybe it was the second or the third day of consecutive TV tapings, maybe, to be more polite to our good friend Jim Ross, but maybe he did. He enjoys an adult beverage now and then.
Which I'm not talking, I'm not saying it was a bad thing.
It was raspy. It was raspy, to be generous.
Definitely raspy. One thing I noticed was MJ drooling. I don't know. Did you catch that? All that drool come out of his mouth. I'm just surprised they would, do that just because of, Corona and all that crap. Yeah. They had this big gob of drool come out of his mouth. The Bucks ended up winning by pinfall. I was shocked that, honestly, somebody's father didn't get involved, but I was glad they didn't go that route. I was glad they just did the match. It was a good match. What did you think of it?
Well, I like the new stage. I thought it added a nice touch to the product.
I didn't care about it at all.
Well, one thing about AEW is they have a nice little setup, but their production value certainly can't touch WWE at this point.
Not at all.
I really liked the setup. That is a true compliment. I thought the build-up to this match was overbooked. That angle they did with a man named Papa Buck, did that make you want to see the match anymore? One man's opinion, not really. But, I think they castrated the referee, and that started to turn me off to it. They had those long stints outside of the ring where the referee wouldn't attempt to count them out. You liked that double sharpshooter spot, which wasn't bad, but two of the guys in the ring were illegal men. They should have been moved out of the ring instead of the referee down there. I think it was Aubrey Edwards, looking for a submission from both of them. I mean, there have to be some rules that apply to have the matches mean anything. I mean, that's just basic psychology for wrestling or any sport, I guess. It looked like that Meltzer driver missed, but, what are you going to do? Not everybody's perfect. It wasn't a bad match, but to me, there was just nothing that stood out as great. To me, there isn't enough selling when it comes to the Young Bucks match, and it felt like nothing seemed important. They built this up as this monster grudge match, and once they actually had the match, I wasn't feeling the venom, I guess.
No, I feel you on that, and I do. That's why, but I just pointed out some good things because I feel like I'm always ripping apart AEW, but it's all right to do that too because that's why we do these. I just try to point out some stuff. But you're right, with the double sharpshooter spot, I didn't even think about it like that. But you're right. Why didn't she knock one of them out, whoever the legal team was?
Yeah. I mean, it was watchable, I'll say that. They all worked hard. It's just the structure of it. It's just when rules don't apply, it's just why bother at that point?
Exactly.
Unless
You're
you
right.
build it up as a no DQ or a no count out or, some kind of a stipulation match. And there was so many gimmick matches on this show as we're going to discuss, but that's a different story for a different time. It was a watchable match. I just wish there was a little bit more structure to it.
Right on. From there, we got the Casino Royale tag team stuff. I can already tell. We had to start off. We had Dark Order 5 and 10 versus Dustin Rhodes and QT. They started it off. The rules were every 90 seconds a new team would come out. Basically, both people have to get thrown over the top rope too. I don't know. I'm just gonna name. Do you want me to name off everybody that was in the match? I did write them down.
If you took the time to write it all down, why not share it with the folks at home?
All right, so this is in order how they entered too. We had Santana and Ortiz, Mike and Matt Sydal. Then we had Mort Dark Order, which was Stu Garson and Evil Uno. Which, are you kidding me? What's with all these numbers in this damn team? They could be more creative than that. We had the Gun Club, Austin and Colton Gunn, which I honestly like a lot. Peter Avalon, Cesar Bononi. Then we had Varsity Blondes, Brian Pillman Jr. and Griff Garrison, which I do like also. We had Bear Country, which is Bear Boulder and Bear Bronson. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Butcher and the Blade. Private Party. SCU, which was Kazarian and Christopher Daniel. Ray Phoenix and Pac. And then we had another Dark Order group, which was John Silver and Reynolds. I thought the concept of it was a lot more clear this time around than when they've done it before. I'm not real big in these kind of matches. I don't know. It was a match, I'm going to say. I'm not going to hate on it. I'm not going to say it was the best.
Well.
You're going to do enough for the both of us because I could already tell by what you did when I first said it was the Casino Royale tag team match. So I'm going to let you go off. I'm just going to say it was a match. It was there were some good spots in it, but for this kind of match, it was just too much. It was all over the place. Ray Phoenix and Pac ended up winning the match. They'll get a future title shot. Now go ahead, go crazy.
For the fans that don't have any idea what we're talking about, just picture a tag team Royal Rumble, only instead of 2-minute intervals, it was, I believe, 90-second intervals. Am I correct? Are you there, Dave?
Yeah. So I
right,
thought
yeah.
you.
It was a question. It was a question.
I didn't know you were actually asking a question about it. Yes, you're right.
This was the worst of AEW because they took just everybody they could try and find to get on this show and put them out there. And it was just so many guys in this match were exposed as that they do not belong on national television. A lot of good talent in the match, but just so many guys I wouldn't book on our independent shows at Memorial Hall down the street from here. And, I don't understand why AEW wants to expose them like that. I mean, there was just some things in this match that was absolutely horrendous. I mean, way too many Dark Order tag teams, way too many Nightmare Family teams. Then they had to remind us of that absurd SCU stipulation that they put upon themselves that if they ever lose again, they're never going to team again, which reminded me of the ridiculous stipulation where Cody Rhodes just says, if I don't win this one, I'm never going to challenge for the world title again. And then Goldust or Dustin Rhodes in some random tournament they had, if I don't win the match in the first round, I'm going to retire or some ridiculous stipulation. Too many stipulations on what was a way overbooked show. I mean, not that the stipulation had anything to do with this, but even the commentators were confused. I mean, if SCU doesn't win this Battle Royal, are they splitting up? Well, no, that only applies to tag team matches, and it's just too much bullshit to try and keep up with. It's not going to get any more interest on them. It just makes them seem like idiots. Who would put that stipulation? If I ever lose again, we're going to break up.
Right.
No thought process to that. This was a show that featured, along with a couple of regular matches, a tag team Royal Rumble, it looked like a golden donut Money in the Bank match. You had a stipulation for people's 1/4 of their income, which I can't believe one fan on the face of the earth had any belief in. You had a cinematic, not just a regular cinematic match, but a regular cinematic match in a warehouse street fight style. And on top of that, you had a Japanese-style landmine death match. That's a little much for one pay-per-view, which is why it went so fucking long. And I lost interest early on. But this Battle Royal was it was terrible. Way too many guys that don't belong on national television. Way too many green guys in the match. If you want to do a YouTube show to try and showcase these guys and give them work and give them experience, I'm all for that. But don't water down one of your 4 quarterly pay-per-views with a match that felt like it went on forever.
Oh, fuck yeah. It was off. Yeah, I'm 100% no good. That I definitely agree with that. It was too much. Some of the tag teams, though, I thought were good. Like, what do you think of the Gun Club?
It was the first time I had seen the thinner of the two. I didn't even know he was in AEW, to be honest. I thought when they said the Gun Club, it was going to be Billy and Austin. I didn't know the other one was even wrestling.
Oh, okay. I thought
that caught me a little bit by surprise.
I thought they're pretty good. I think they have a bright future, especially with their father being so talented as he was.
Well,
but yeah, I agree with.
And then there's David Sammartino, but.
All right. From there, we got Paul White getting interviewed backstage by Dasha, basically asking about the new signing. He says he only knows Tony and the actual signing, and he's going to outwork everyone. That was the tagline. And then they showed, which you probably like, they showed DDP in the crowd. Then they showed Al Snow.
Uncle Al, baby.
Yes, sir. There you go. And Jim Ross made a little comment about all the product in his hair. He looked good, and I thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, so I don't know. You have anything to say about that?
No, it was good to see Uncle Al. It would be nice to see them develop a relationship with OVW. I know they have their own, I think they call it the Nightmare Factory in Georgia, where they train a lot of the stars that are coming up the ranks in AEW. But you know what? You can never develop too much talent. You know, there used to be a time in this industry that a lot of fans aren't familiar with when it was a territorial-based system, when you had 30 different places you can earn a full-time living. We don't have that in 2021. So you know what I say? Keep developing the pro wrestlers. Weed out the ones that don't belong and keep looking for diamonds in the rough that can be turned into those diamonds.
Absolutely. From there, I know already, I can already tell you, AEW Women's Title match, Ryo Mizunami versus Okada Shida. She's the champion. Yeah. I put no good, too long. I put AEW tries way too hard with these women's matches. They just try so hard, and they have all failed. Every one we watch and we go over, they're too long. There's not enough work in them. They're too green. Like you say, they shouldn't be on national television with these kind of matches. Even the announcers were going boring pretty much. Like they were just quiet.
Even they were bored. They couldn't even pretend to like it.
There was a couple good, like I had the big leg drop off the top of the row from Shida. That was cool. I mean, it should have honestly ended the match. I thought it was. I was like, all right, they're not going to do it too long. Nope. It continued for another 15 minutes. Okada won by pinfall. She retained the title. Nyla Rose ends up running down, attacking everyone. Then we got your girl Vicki Guerrero.
Yeah, I think I asked in one of our recent reviews where she'd been.
Yeah, she's back. That's why I wrote that.
Those tight leather pants.
Rebel came out, it's limping, hitting everybody with the crutch. Thunder Rosa comes out and saves the day, cleans house. That was the thing. Go ahead.
The work wasn't very good in this match. I had zero interest in the match. They did one of the worst crowd tosses in wrestling history when 3 or 4 guys collapsed with a 100-pound woman thrown on them. I don't know if you remember that spot. They were outside of the ring forever, and again, the referee didn't count. I don't know if it was a no-count-out match or whatever it was. And then as much as I thought the match sucked, the brawl after it was even worse. I mean, it was just, It was atrocious. Why put something like that on a quarterly pay-per-view when you should be saving and showcasing your best stuff? That was a big thumbs down for me.
Absolutely. From there, we're backstage. Chuck T and Orange Cassidy are shown backstage. They get attacked by Miro. Miro and Kip Sabian come out with them, just beating them up beating Chucky T the whole time down the ramp. Chuck T gets on the mic because Miro's asking, ask him, you should just give up. He goes, he says, ring the bell. So they ring the bell. It ends up being Kip Sabian and Miro versus Chucky T and Orange Cassidy. Sabian and Miro just beating on Chuck T the whole time. Chucky was bleeding from the head for pretty much the whole match. Orange Cassidy finally, like he's Stone Cold Steve Austin. You see that? He came bombing down, all pumped up.
Oh, yeah.
Ready to rock. I don't know. I don't get it. What I put is Orange Cassidy should not be beating on Miro. That should be the last person he gets anything, and I don't get it, man. Some things just don't make sense with this company. I like the Chuck T did the what do you call pile driver. You don't really see that much anymore. He actually did the sit down pile driver, which I liked a lot. I don't like those little kicks by Orange Cassidy. I hate those things. It makes it look so stupid. And when I talk about it, like that was a pay-per-view, but when he does that stuff on like TNT, someone turns on that like, what the hell is this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is this? What's going on here? I didn't like Miro selling at all for Cassidy. I thought that was terrible. At the end, Miro starts cleaning house. Miro ends up having Chuck T submit. He did what is that? The Russo Crush or whatever it is, his submission move.
I have no idea what they call it there.
Yeah, I didn't either. But yeah, Miro ended up having Chuck T submit. I don't know. It's another one of those wash away matches that just didn't do anything. It's too much. They put too much in a match for it to even be worth watchable anymore because you get so confused.
Just even how it began was just kind of a waste where they, smashed Taylor's face through the glass to get a little bit of blood. This wasn't a match that needed blood. It was just a complete and utter waste of Miro and Kip Sabian, both who have a great amount of talent. The other two, if they imploded and were never seen again, it certainly wouldn't offend my interest in the world of professional wrestling. I tell you this, I think even having the valet with them, Penelope Ford, takes away from it because they've never done anything to develop the two of them as a couple. I don't think anyone cared about the wedding. I don't think anyone cares about what they do together wrestling. Sabian doesn't even wrestle enough on Dynamite, in my opinion.
Right.
I did like the fact that he had tights on. I thought that was a good call. For whatever the reason, it made him seem a little bit thicker. He's kind of a slight guy, as good as he is. But, I thought the brawl in the back was lousy. I have zero interest in the two of them as a couple, with them trying to get her involved in little spots. And I hate Orange Cassidy. Chuck Taylor does nothing for me. I didn't like, there was nothing about it that I liked other than the fact you gave them a little exposure. At least they were on the show. But my God, why not just have put them in the Battle Royal to save a little time? Honest to God, why not? I mean,
and just let them go at it.
Yeah.
I totally agree. From there, we got an interview backstage with Chris Jericho and MJF. They were asked, how does it feel to be? How was it to feel with winning the tag team titles? Jericho takes offense to that. He gets upset. Inner Circle is an army, needs to change their battle plans. The Inner Circle is going to have a war council this Wednesday.
Oh, and I'm sick of those big group Inner Circle promos. We're together, we're not together. We're together, we're not together. This is our strategy now. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. It gets repetitive after a while. And I like the Inner Circle. I like the group. I think they have a great grouping of guys in it. They don't have a valet, which is refreshing in 2021. But as far as those style promos goes, I get bored with it quick. But who knows? It may turn into something great on Wednesday night. You have to watch and find out.
Absolutely. From there, we get the big money match. Big money Matt Hardy versus Hangman Adam Page. Match starts by taking place all over the ring. They finally get it into the ring. Matt Hardy, some of the bright spots. The match was good. I love Hangman Adam Page. I think we've established that. We both do on the show. Matt Hardy was biting his finger. I thought that was kind of funny. I really do believe this. Adam Page makes it look easy in the ring. He really does. He's so fluent.
Very smooth.
Yes, and it helps he's working with Matt Hardy, but I just think he's so fluent, so smooth in the ring. It just looks good. And we always say he's a main event talent with the right booking. Page had a nice crossbody over the top rope. Isaiah Cassidy got involved, got involved a little bit, got on the rope, distract the ref. Dark Order comes out to even the odds. Adam Page ends up winning by pinfall. Then there was a group hug with the Dark Order, which I don't want to see that. Please tell me Adam Page is not joining them because he doesn't need that. Am I right or what?
I mean, what a fucking waste of Adam Page on pay-per-view. Yeah. I mean, Matt Hardy at this point has very little to offer inside the squared circle. Again, how many personality changes can someone have? And he's been there about 6 months. I mean, he's gone from broken, woken, whatever he is in AEW or was with his little, whatever that little ship thing was that flew around taking pictures and
Oh, the drone.
videos and the drone, yeah. Then he became regular Matt Hardy, trying to be a babyface coach. Now he's this big ball agent taking 30% of everybody's revenue. I mean, it just sucks. I mean, if you have 4 pay-per-views a year, you can't come up with something better for Adam Page than that, Matt Hardy. Oh, and I mean, even you Private Party is, I think, a gimmick that can get over as time goes on, even stronger than they are right now, once they become a little bit more solid in the ring. And I think you weigh them down by putting them with this lousy version of Matt Hardy. You know, I'm sure Matt has a lot of ways he could contribute to wrestling and a lot of ways he could help AEW, but having lousy pay-per-view matches certainly is not the way to go about it. And then afterwards, you have Adam Page's Seven Dwarfs faction of all the boring Dark Order members coming out. Please. Just terrible. Terrible execution.
100%. From there, we get the ladder match with the big golden, I think you call it the golden donut. It's supposed to be a golden brass ring hanging above the ring. It's huge.
Well, you know what it was? I was at Universal Studios this week, and I saw all the big giant donuts for Homer Simpson around the park. So that's what made me think of that.
Yeah, that was a big brass ring, I'll tell you that much. So we got the match was Max Caster versus Lance Archer versus Scorpion Sky versus Penta El Zero versus Cody Rhodes, and the mysterious sixth man was Ethan Page, which I was happy about because I really like him. I watch a lot of Impact Wrestling, so I've seen him work. I enjoy his work. I don't know if he was just newly introduced to you.
He was new to me, yes.
Yeah, I figured so. At the beginning, they had some great work with the ladder. Cody had a nice disaster kick to the outside of the ring onto Max Caster. The boombox was used as a weapon. I thought that was kind of funny. Scorpio Sky, very talented. Am I right?
Yes. And even better when they keep him away from the SCU comedic bullshit. When they present him as a serious athlete, he's excellent. He can go match in, match out. I like Scorpio Sky an awful lot.
Yeah, he had a brutal frog splash off the ladder, too, I think, because he did it on top. Oof, that looked like that definitely had some effect to his midsection. We had a huge suplex by Lance Archer to Cody from the top of the ladder. You remember? I don't know. Did you see that? You must have seen that, right?
Devastating.
Yeah, it was big. I like Cody using his belt as like Hogan. Remember when Hogan used to take off his weight?
Yep.
He was mad, slapping him around. Your buddy Jake Roberts got involved in the match. I don't know.
The first half of it wasn't bad, but when it came time for the bump, forget about it.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, that was rough.
Scorpio Sky ended up winning the match. He grabbed the brass ring, which I was very happy with this. If this was one match that was done right, that was probably done right because, like we just said, he has a lot of talent. I'm glad that he won the match because at least maybe this will give him some kind of status in AEW and get away from SCU, like you just said.
Well, I think it will lead to a very fast-paced TNT championship match this Wednesday.
Yes.
Hopefully, if they can sell all the great moves that they're going to do to each other, I think Scorpio Sky and Darby Allin could potentially have a really good match on Dynamite this week. I like this match more than most on the show. I really like Max Caster's development. I think he has decent size for 2021. I think his little rap and his promo is very good. It makes him stand out. It makes him memorable. I had seen him on the indie scene, and sometimes they say it's the little things that count. Him shaving his mustache makes him look so much more like a superstar than when he had it. It isn't even funny. The one thing that I really, for whatever reason, really just annoyed me about this match was, how many Canadian destroyers are you going to do on the same show? And in this match, do a Canadian destroyer on a ladder. I mean, think about the psychology behind that. Why would anyone risk their body to do that in a multi-person ladder match where you're only going to get hurt doing the move on the ladder too? But
Oh, I know. I totally agree with you. I can't argue that. That's 100%.
I thought it was a good pick with who won. Like I said, it was one of the better matches of the show for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. From there, we got the big signing, Hall of Fame worthy signing, Christian Cage. His new slogan is "Outwork everyone." I don't know. Here, I knew I heard rumblings of it. I just don't understand going back in the well of getting all the older WWE talent instead of trying to get someone newer, new up and coming talent. They just keep on bringing all the older guys. I seen one funny. It was all elderly wrestling with it cracked me up, and it's the truth. It's like, I love Christian. I love him, but he can't go every week. Like, he'll be taking spots from guys that they could actually help. I don't know. What do you feel about it?
I was really surprised. I did not hear any rumblings about it. I didn't, maybe because I was kind of out of the loop this week, but I had thought it was going to be Kurt Angle. I thought maybe he went down to Mexico with some of the other guys and he had the stem cell work done and his neck was better and he was ready to go. I don't know. I saw a little Mirade showed me a video. I think it was on Instagram of him putting on tights. So I was actually really surprised with Christian.
That was for his podcast.
Oh, was that what it was for?
Well, he did it on purpose because that he did show the first half Saturday. Then on Sunday morning, he played the rest of it because it's a to be continued. And it was just about his podcast.
Oh, well, you know what? He got people's attention.
Yep.
So I was surprised it was Christian. And I say good for Christian because I imagine it's a situation similar to Big Show where, whether it be financially or Christian feels like he has more to contribute, he's back. So, I mean, is it the 2005 Christian that Impact Wrestling got? No, but he's another brand name. He's someone else you can showcase when you're looking at television deals. He's someone you can put in promotional materials that some fans may recognize. He's someone, when it comes to international television deals, having under contract will help. Because I know it may offend some, but there are a lot of people on this planet that don't have a fucking clue who the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega or any of those people are.
True.
And Christian Cage was, he has been a top star since the Attitude Era. And you can also question how fresh is his body. I mean, he literally, outside of that Royal Rumble, has not wrestled for years due to concussion issues. He could be in tremendous physical shape for all we know. I mean, there are guys that can be at that age and still get in there and go. So, I'm optimistic that we're going to get a really good Christian Cage. He's a really good guy. He has a great passion for this business. I think he's someone that can really help the younger guys. Hopefully, it's not going to be another Matt Hardy situation where he weighs them down. And hopefully, Christian is going to outwork everybody and stay in tremendous physical shape because I'll say this, at the Rumble, he looked great.
Yeah, he did. And that's what I meant when I said, like, I love that he's signing. I'm glad he's working. I just don't want him to weigh down other people.
Right.
I hope it's even amount because I'm a big fan of Christian, awesome.
I don't think he needs to be put out there in as much moderation as someone like Big Show, but you know what? You know me. I'm big on as limited number of appearances for everybody as possible because it makes them seem as special as possible. But they've overdone it with Sting, I think. Hopefully they will not do that with Christian. But again, it all depends on what they're going to do with him. I mean, could you see him as a challenger for the AEW belt on one of the upcoming pay-per-views? Absolutely. And even if you look at their top rung of guys right now, their top 6 that you might see in main events, I think Christian would have a pretty good match with all of them.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. Can't go wrong with that. So from there, Taz comes walking out. He joins the commentary booth because the next match is done at an undisclosed location. It's a street
Top
fight.
secret.
Yes. Sting and Darby Allin versus Brian Cage and Ricky Starks. I thought the concept was kind of cool at first because it looked cool, but then as it went on, like you said, it kind of reminded me of a video game with all the stingers coming out. Slapping on.
Yeah.
I think it was NWO, WCW Revenge or someone I used to play when I was a kid. Basically, the matches kept on going. They were trying to hide Sting, obviously, because, the guy's, 61 years old. So Darby taking a lot of the work, Sting just doing his, punches. His punches look good. What did you think of his shots? They look good, right, for a 61-year-old?
It was the perfect way to camouflage his limitations.
Yes.
They did well as far as that goes. It was executed well.
Right on. We had Hobbs and Hook get involved in the match, so it ended up being 4-2 or whatever. Yeah. Sting took some big shots, which I was shocked, but I didn't think he would take as many shots as he did, but he did, and good for him.
Well, that powerbomb that he took on Dynamite really impressed me. That says to me that he's must be in pretty decent physical condition because Sting is not a stupid man. If he wasn't physically fit to take that, he would not.
Yep. From there, this was a cool spot. I like Cage and Hobbs swinging Allen, and then they swing him right through that glass door. I thought that was kind of cool. It was different. Darby, did you see the? Well, you must see him when he jumped through the window.
Yeah.
On through that. That was a big. I mean, obviously, it was done cinematical or whatever, but I thought it was kind of cool, different. Basically left Sting and Starks in the ring. Sting pinned Starks to win the match. Did you think the right guy pinned there? Do you think that should have happened, or do you think Starks?
No, and it's in my notes.
That's what I'm gonna say, because I think it should have been the other way around. Sting doesn't need to win there. Sting's there just to, just be another name for the company. Starks, like we talk about, is so talented, has so much potential. Him pinning Sting would be so much more for his career than the opposite. But go ahead.
I think this will be remembered more for the hoopla around the match than the match itself, which probably helps the cause as far as him doing the job. I didn't understand all of the lumberjack druid stings, but I guess someone did. I thought it was really well shot and produced visually. I thought it was really cool looking. As far as them starting in a ring and then fighting around a warehouse, then going back to the ring, it's like you said, it was almost like a video game. And for Sting to pin a guy half his age, I mean, I think Ricky Starks is a guy I would look at as, okay, 5 years from now, who are my top heels in AEW going to be if I'm Tony Khan? And I think that's one of the guys that could. I think I've met him in person once. I really can't remember size-wise in my mind where I would put him. I mean, you obviously can tell he's not the world's biggest guy, especially compared to Brian Cage, but he's just, for what wrestling is in 2021, I mean, he's got all the potential in the world to be one of their top guys. To have him lay down to 61-year-old Sting in a cinematic match, was it the worst way to do it? No. But was it a good idea? No. But it was well produced. I mean, they did a really good job putting it together, I'll say that much. I know there was kind of this chatter online. Someone that I don't know if they had seen the match or spoken to someone in AEW, but they said it was going to be this fantastic must-see extravaganza, and it was better than that match they did in the football field, which I thought was a complete and utter joke. But, I like my wrestling serious, and at least I can say about this wasn't presented as a joke.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. I really have nothing else to say. I already did, but I mean, to me, it is. People were saying, I was reading, because I like to read some of the reactions to this, because fans are so one-sided right now. They said this match was better than the Boneyard match, which I disagree with.
No way. Yeah. You mean the Undertaker one?
Yeah, the Undertaker.
No way.
I think the Undertaker AJ Styles blew this one away. But you know how fans are, and I just like to read the reviews, see if they give any credit.
Well, it's probably just, the AEW fans will probably say that this was better than Undertaker and AJ, and the WWE fans will say Undertaker his cinematic match was better than what had took place last night. I'll say this. I might have liked the production values in last night's match a little bit better. I'll say that, but I thought the overall execution of Undertaker and AJ was much better.
I don't like the commentary. That's what threw me off. I don't think there should have been any commentary throughout.
Oh, really? You think it just should have been silent?
Yeah, like it does with when they do the cinematic matches for the WWE. I just think it adds more because you can actually hear them talking, going through the match.
I think you expose it too much, honestly, but that's just my opinion.
Good work. You don't like Undertaker AJ. You never heard anything exposed. It was great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that had background music and everything, I think, right?
Yeah, it was great. I thought it was done well. This match, it's not like, I guess if you're not in the loop or whatever you want to call it, this match isn't live, and you get some announcers just announcing throughout of it. I don't know. It just threw me off a little bit. I think it would have been better with no announcing and a little music in the background and just watch it blow for blow. But, that's my opinion. From there, we got the AEW World Title match, the exploding barbed wire match. Jon Moxley versus the AEW champion Kenny Omega. The ref dressed in a hazmat suit. I thought that was hilarious. You knew he didn't want to get hit by that damn barbed wire. No one, basically at the beginning, no one wants to hit the barbed wire. Like I just said, that, they're all trying to do things to avoid it. Moxley ends up getting into the barbed wire first because Kenny Omega throws the powder in his face. The bomb goes off, or whatever you want to call it, the explosion. Moxley starts bleeding pretty bad from the face. I think the barbed wire, there was so much of it, like I can't believe the hunks of the metal on it. Like, because when they zoomed up to it, that could be some brutal stuff.
Yeah.
Then you had basically Omega started bleeding from the head too. Moxley kicked the rope and the explosion went off. You've seen that, right? When he went for the pin, he kicked the rope.
Yep. That was clever.
Yeah, it was different. Good Brothers came out, attacked Moxley, give Omega the barbed wire bat, which was pretty cool. Actually, I should call it the barbed wire exploding bat because that's what the announcers called it.
Yeah.
It was he basically rubbed it against him like a grater, basically to Moxley's forehead. Pinned at the end. Obviously, Omega won the match by pinfall. All of them just kept on beating on Moxley after the match. They handcuffed Moxley down. Omega starts talking to the camera as the Good Brothers keep beating on Moxley. Then they take the bat and use it as a grater to Moxley's forehead again. Then they start the countdown on the back screen to basically when the ring's going to explode, which they should have never done because we'll talk about it in 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Kingston comes running out to basically protect Moxley, lays over him like he's going to do something. And all of a sudden you get to 0, and it's a couple of sparklers went off. And it was like, what the hell? And then they actually sold it, which bothered me even more. Kingston, it was awful. And I don't want to crap on it like too much, but it was bad. It was just bad. Could have done without that. They shouldn't even went with that. If they never had intentions of making it look cool or even kind of serious, should have never went that far. Should have been over. They just made us stay up even later to watch that. A couple sparklers go off. I didn't like it.
It looked like Kevin Nash's pyro when he was Diesel.
Or when Sid Vicious, right? Sid, the Sid with the thing when they had it written Sid with the little sparklers.
Yeah. I remember when Diesel got in the ring, all 4 corners would have sparklers go off for a few seconds.
Yep.
My turn?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought the body of the match, it was a great bloody brawl. The guys went balls to the wall in this one. And done, again, I'm going to use that magic word, moderation. I mean, it should be a match that could have great value to them. And when I say moderation, I mean, I wouldn't do another one for 2 or 3 years.
I was going to say that to you. Do you think we'll see another one at the end of this year?
No. If it was me, I would wait a couple of years to do it. I think that's why a match like a show like Elimination Chamber has such little value now, where they've overdone it so much.
Right on.
Tip of the cap to 2 men to put themselves through that brutality. A lot of it is a little hocus pocus, but that barbed wire cutting into your skin is not. It was not as visually impressive for those longtime fans or those that go on YouTube as maybe the Oneida Terry Funk barbed wire match in FMW, or, when I was about Little Marade's age at 15, I thought IWA King of the Death matches in Japan, the Cactus Jack one, was one of the great events I'd ever seen. But again, moderation. You can't do that on a regular basis, so you become, immune to the brutality of it and what these guys are really going through when they put those types of brawls and matches together, and the abuse that they take. I mean, those 2 guys took a lot of abuse for the fans' enjoyment last night. I just wish the match ended with the pinfall, because everything after the pinfall was a complete and utter disaster on an independent wrestling level. I mean, trying to handcuff the guy so he's blown up. Only 3 sides of the ring had the barbed wire on it. So if it was me, I wouldn't leave that side of the ring. But what are you going to do? And then to have, of all people, like I said, to me, he reminds me of a guy that you'd listen to at a house show at MSG. Eddie Kingston running out to save his frenemy, I guess, Dean Ambrose, from this wild explosion that looked like something... a 4th of July celebration for elementary school kids with the sparklers going on and not much else. Then they sold it as if the 2 of them nearly died from it when absolutely nothing happened to the ring. I mean, they wanted a bomb at the end. They got a bomb at the end. It just wasn't the one that exploded. It was the execution. It was a bomb.
It was... Oof. Like you said, and I said it too, it should have ended after the pinfall. Because
up until that point, it was great.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have much other than that. Like I said, the match itself was brutal. It was good. It was definitely, gory. We said it was bloody. You know, it was good,
it was everything it should have been up until the end.
Absolutely, and that's where it was just like, oh, come on.
And that's what, unfortunately, that's what fans are going to remember. All that hard work, all those cuts, all those bumps in the barbed wire and bleeding, and it's going to be remembered for that imbecile laying on top of Dean Ambrose like he was trying to save his life and nothing happening. And then they sending all kinds of medical personnel and security out to try and save them from nothing happening. I don't know.
Oh, totally, 100%. I heard a quote today. Well, actually, when I was going to Twitter, Bully Ray posted it. It said, the only thing they remember is the finish. And that was said by Vincent Kennedy McMahon to him.
Absolutely.
And he was pointing that out basically because of what happened last night.
It's a disservice to both Omega and, I almost called him Ambrose, Moxley. Again, where they went through so much to try and put together a top-notch effort. And then for them, I mean, you know what? Again, there's a lot of folks out there probably that are listening to this show that aren't WWE fans. They're diehard AEW, and you know what? Good for them. But if that was a WWE production, that's not how that show would have went off the air. It would have been a top-notch explosion.
That's what I don't get is, did they expect something bigger, or was that the whole plan the whole time?
Well, I mean, haven't you ever watched any of the death matches from Japan?
No. I know that. I'm saying for AEW. Do you think that's what they expected, or is that just like a malfunction?
I'm gonna hope it was some kind of a malfunction. Because if they went through a practice run and they thought that was a great way to end the show, they're out of their minds.
Okay, good. Because I was just like, man, if that's what they planned for God. But yeah, that was AEW Revolution. For me, I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna be. You're definitely gonna be higher than me. I'm gonna give it middle of the road, 5 out of 10.
I gave it a 4.
Oh wow!
Even I like the most of the main event. I like the ladder match, but this show just sucked. It was overbooked. It went way too long. So many guys that, again, don't belong on national television mixed in with guys that are excellent. It's a strange dynamic. AEW has some of the best wrestlers in the world right now, and then they have some guys, again, that I wouldn't give $20 to wrestle down at Memorial Hall on one of our live events. It's odd. I think that's what makes it almost interesting to me sometimes, is seeing this real high-quality talent interact with these guys that are just awful.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a morbid interest. I don't know. But, you know, again, I say it about almost every show. You have a couple of matches that were outstanding, really good. And then the rest of the show, it's like, how can you even put it out there?
Right.
And on a pay-per-view that they could have made much better by slashing it to 3 hours instead of 4 by eliminating. I mean, the first hour was awful. The first 5 matches sucked.
Well, and the thing is that they're so long every match. It doesn't need to be. And I'm like, why is every time AEW has a pay-per-view, they're 4 hour long? Why?
Because they only do 4 of them a year. I do understand the rationale, but if you want to put together a 4-hour pay-per-view, put out your best talent for the best matches.
I was just going to say that with 4 hours, then put out your best matches. Don't put out this woman's match for friggin' 35, 40 minutes and it's awful. Like, put on your best matches, your best talent should be on those cards.
I mean, the show, I guess the best way to word it is it was watchable, but just way too long and too many guys that didn't belong.
And that's why I went 5 out of 10, because it was watchable. Some of the guys worked really hard. I enjoyed the ladder match. Some of the tag teams in the Casino Royale, even though I wasn't a big fan of the match stuff, I enjoyed. They were guys that I've never seen before. I've only seen a little bit of, so I enjoyed that. That's why I did a 5 out of 10, because it's not anything that I'll ever watch again. Never go back and watch that. But I thought 5 out of 10 was fair.
I wanted to like it more than I did, but it wasn't that good.
Right on. I hear it. That was AEW. Revolution.
All right, wrestling fans, you heard it from Mr. Carter himself. WWE Monday Night Raw is just moments away. Follow us on Twitter at MWF Project X. We'll be promoting all of that great merchandise all night, believe it or not, because we want to keep the wrestling legends working as the road to WrestleMania continues. We have a lot of big things happening here in the world of Boston wrestling this month, as noted, in addition to our regular Wrestling Insider in-studio shoot interview talk shows Tuesday through Friday at 10 p.m. This week, we have not one but 2 live episodes in studio where we can interact with you guys. The hardwire is set for Dave's laptop, so he can keep an eye on things too. Friday night during SmackDown, Mr. USA, Tony Atlas, the Hall of Famer, will be with us live in studio. Then the next night, Saturday night, baby, before our Wrestling Insider Weekend Review, we got Impact Wrestling's big kind of pay-per-view. What's it called again, Dave?
Sacrifice.
We have Sacrifice on a Saturday night to hang out with you guys. We're going to have a lot of fun. I look forward to it. AEW. Impact Wrestling is a company that continues to be like the phoenix from Greek mythology. It rises from the ashes every time you think it's dead. You know, even back in 2002, people said they'd never make it. Now, if they can make it to June, which I'm pretty certain they will, that'll be 19 years. So good for Impact Wrestling. I look forward to seeing something fresh to me because I'm not as familiar with Impact Wrestling as I am AEW and NXT and Raw and SmackDown and such. So I think it'll be fun, and I hope you guys join us. We're going to set the link up early in the week so you can set a reminder. Is it a 7 or an 8 p.m. pay-per-view? Do you know?
8 p.m.
8 p.m. All right. Well, I like the Saturday night shows. You know that. I think it gives it a more adult feel. One man's opinion. WWF, I think the last time they ran a Saturday night pay-per-view might have been Royal Rumble 94 in Providence. It's been a minute. Well, no, I'm wrong because WrestleMania was on Saturday this week.
I was just going to say, yeah.
It's a standalone pay-per-view. The last time they did a Saturday night, I think, I could be wrong, but I think it was Rumble 94. My dear Lord. But anyway, Raw is moments away, folks. We got the great merch in the eBay store, the Patreon. Again, every month, the first of the month, that you almost want to cry when you see the people that unsubscribe. I guess it's similar to what the adult porn stars deal with their subscription services. Not that we have any of that on our Patreon service, but we're trying to boost the numbers so we can keep wrestling legends working. We want to document as many stories as humanly possible. Too many of our brotherhood pass away way too quick, and we'll never get a chance to get them again if we don't get them now. So where we have so many opportunities coming up in Tampa, we got to make the most out of it. I know Dave is looking forward to this Wrestle House that we actually have to book, probably like later today or tomorrow, now that plans are starting to come together. So for Dave Carter, I'm Dan Mirade. Until we speak again, folks, we will be back tomorrow with our Raw review. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
We'll see you for our next TV review program Tuesday night tomorrow at 9 p.m. before Wrestling Insiders at your house with Tony Atlas. For Dave Carter, Dan Mirade, we'll see you then. Good night. The World Wrestling Federation was sold out at the Boston Garden in Boston, Massachusetts, Saturday, March the 8th, 1980. In the opening contest, Duke of Dorchester, Pete Doherty, beat Angelo Gomez. Johnny Rodz with the win over Fred Marzino. Jose Estrada battled Silvano Souza to a double disqualification. The Wild Samoans defeated WWF Tag Team Champions Tito Santana and Polish Power Ivan Putski via countout. Rene Goulet victorious over Joe Crugnali. Dominic DeNucci beat Bulldog Brower. And in the main event, Bruno Sammartino with the win over Ken Patera via countout in a Texas death match. If you were in Boston Live, share your memories in the comment section below. Use the links in the description box to keep wrestling legends working in our eBay store and on our acclaimed Patreon streaming service so we can bring you more interactive superstar shoot interviews to relive the good old days of professional wrestling. Check it out. Boston Wrestling Sports in the MWF explodes into a new year with professional wrestling content galore and need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after our Monday Night Raw review, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. after NXT and AEW, join rotating legends on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's No Holds Barred Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll journey on Wrestling Insider's Party with Marty. Friday night after SmackDown, don't miss John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insider's Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, history videos, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view watch-alongs, and more. For less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, get early ad-free access to our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and help keep wrestling legends working during the worst of times. Join our growing family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Expect the unexpected in 2021.